In our final scenario, we will look at approving OE sales orders. For OE orders, when approval is required, the workflow puts the order on hold automatically. This is configured by enabling the approval on OE orders in Extender, and you just need to configure the business rules. In our scenario, the business rules to approve OE orders are based on the discount percent and the delivery zone that the order is in. And this is based on the UPS zone optional field. But before we delve into Sage 300 and the workflow rules, we'd like to share a practical tip that we've started using to help configure the workflow. We have been encouraging partners and customers to start workflow configuration with a clear flowchart of the decision points. And we have found that AI is very helpful for this. So you can ask your preferred AI app to draw the flowchart. This is what I did to get the flowchart that is on this slide. And then you can add your business rules into your AI, check the flowchart, adjust it, and turn it into rules that you can enter into the workflow rules in Extender. Let's take a look in Claude. I use Claude, but other LLM can do something similar, and I don't pretend to teach you how to use AI. It's just something that we found quite useful. We like how it checks the logic, asks confirmation questions before you start building the rules, and it does speed up the process. So you can start with very simple questions. I need to draw a flowchart for sales order approvals. Or you write the text, the rules that the customer has given you. So in our example here, we said if the order discount is greater than 20%, approval is required. If the orders are in the ORCID zone, they're approved by Steve. Orders in other zones are approved by Anne and Terence. That's our business rule. It draws us this flowchart, which starts with decision points. It does highlight the decision points very well. Is the discount greater or not than 20%? And if no, it's auto-approved. If yes, checking the order zone, and the approver is determined based on the order zone. He does like to ask us confirmation questions like here, if you're not in the order zone, do they both confirming that they both need to approve one after the other? But one thing that we found with Extender workflow rules is that while these flowcharts highlight the different decision points very clearly, to translate the flowchart into Extender workflow rules, you need one more step, because you need to group each decision point to end up with a list of distinct rules, starting with the most restrictive. So I can just ask my LLM to do this for me. And just saying I need a list of distinct conditions in priority order. And there it comes. Now telling me that if the discount is greater than 20% and the zone is ORCID, approval from Steve. If the discount is greater than 20% and the zone is not ORCID, requires approval from both Anne and Terence. And if the discount is less than 20%, no approval is required. The order is auto-approved. So this is what we are now going to go and configure in Sage 300. Let's go and configure this in Extender Setup Workflow Rules. So this is not a full training session. There's another video where we explain how to import the module to enable OE approvals, OE orders approvals, but we've already done that. So now I'm going to look for my sales order approval workflow rules. So our first rule is if the discount is greater than, okay, I've changed it to 10%, and the UPS zone is ORCID, Steve approves. What does that mean in terms of Sage 300 fields? It means that the discount percentage on the order is greater than 10%, and the optional field, UPS zone, starts with OR. So this is our very specific Sage 300 configuration where we use optional fields to track the delivery zone. And under the who for the approver, we're saying Steve is now the approver. Our second rule is that if the discount is greater than 10%, but it's not the UPS zone, So we're still looking at the order discount percent. We have our friendly name here, our field name, friendly name greater than 10. There are two approvers, Terence and then Anne. And then explicitly saying that all other orders, so basically if the discount is less than 10%, there are no approvers. So the HA is all. Reminder that these rules are evaluated in sequence. So this one first, if it finds that the discount percentage is greater than 10 and the UPS zone starts with OR. But for other UPS zones, so white, blue, red, sage, it applies this rule as long as the discount percent is greater than 10. And this is all the other ones. If you need to change, very easy to add an approver for here. I can easily add another user to this list if I need to. The configuration is still done in the Sage desktop screens, but once the configuration is done, the workflow will start whether you enter the orders on the desktop, on the web screens, or through other means that use the Sage 300 views. So let's start with an order on the web screen. I've selected my customer, Acme Plumbing, and you can notice here this tray. This is now the updated web tray. Information Manager notes that let you run an extender script. So if you're running both extender and notes, you can display information that is relevant to the users who are entering the transactions. In this case, we're saying as you're entering the order, you can view the credit status or you can run the aging as well. You can see how much is due. You may have pending orders. You can double click to go and view other orders, outstanding orders, or you can get more information about the outstanding transactions. For example, I can double click, see all the different invoices. Oh, there's quite an old one here. I can double click and drill through to the AR invoice on the web screen and investigate if need be. So let's go back to our order. We'll come back to this in the context of the approval as well. So this is a new feature in the August 26th release of Extender and Information Manager. Okay, so I've entered my order. Let's check what is the UPS zone here. Just move the information here back to the right. Oh, it's the blue zone. So it's not the orchid zone. I'm expecting 3 approvers if there is a discount greater than 10%. I'm entering my discount, 15%. As I'm posting this transaction, the workflow will kick in. So you can see the order is on hold. It does have a comment, which is the reason we've entered on the workflow rule. Discount is greater than 10% and it's not the Orchid UPS zone, so Terence has to approve. Okay, let's look at the second order for customer 1520. Where is the UPS zone? Okay, this one is going to be an Orchid delivery. It's also going to have, let's say, 17% discount. So now see this one, which is the Orchid UPS zone. Steve is marked as the approver. Because I'm an administrator, I have a right to view all the pending approvals for all the users, not just the ones that are assigned to me or a group I'm in. Typically, most users would see only the approvals that are pending, that are assigned to them or group they're in. So the external workflow console on the web follows the same logic as the ones on the desktop screens. This is the one we've just done. 104 assigned to Terence. If I click on the values, I can see that there will be 3 approvers, Terence, then Anne and Susan, and that is the reason why this order is on hold. Now if we look at order 105 assigned to Steve, again I can check the values and see there will be only 1 approver, Steve, because we are in the ORCID UPS zone. Go to the bottom and I can see the UPS zone is ORC. If I want to see more detail, I can drill down and open the OE order. I have access to the same information that the user entering had access to, which is the credit status, our outstanding balance, our AR aging. I can double click to view the detail of this outstanding balance. And I can double click to go and open the AR transaction if I need to. Let's now look at it from the point of view of Steve, who is an approver. And we look at the workflow console, and he's looking at orders or approvals assigned to him or a group I'm in. Let's just focus on the OE orders for now. And let's look at the one we've just entered. Okay, Steve can look at the values and see what's happened. The discount percent was 17. UPS zone is ORCID. Great. Can drill down either to the customer to see more information about the customer or to the OE order. And Steve has access to the same information that I had when I was entering the order. My credit status or my AR aging. Double click to view the outstanding invoices, change the shape of it if need be, and look at this one, which is the largest outstanding invoice, which is a bit old. I can drill through and open the invoice and look at any information that is relevant. Now if we go back to the workflow console, Steve could reject, but for sake of the presentation, I'm going to approve the order. It came from the trade show, that's really good, so okay for the discount. So because there's only 1 approver for this order, it drops off the console, it's approved, and it's immediately taken off hold. We can go and have a look here in the workflow detail log. And you can see that for, make this a little bit bigger, order 105, it was now approved by Steve. I can filter just for order 105 to see exactly what happened. It was started by admin and then eventually approved by Steve. Click on the values to see the comment that Steve has entered. When I have multiple approvers, it will show that level 1 has approved, but I might have other approvers waiting for their turn to approve. Now in this particular example, the other thing we have configured is a notification in Microsoft Teams when an order is approved. And in this example, we see that we have a notification in Microsoft Teams with a new order being created, name of the customer, the fact it's approved and released, and communication can happen in Teams about this order. So this is independent of Sage 300. This is pushing information outside of Sage 300 to the relevant stakeholders. And this is one more choice that you have when using Extended Workflow. In our early orders approval example, using the Workflow Console, we've demonstrated the new web Workflow Console. We've also shown how you can have role-based visibility of your approvals. So some users can see only their pending approvals, others can see everything. We've looked at how to configure the rules and seen the flexibility of the conditions, the what that you can, the what and the how that you can set up, and how we can use LLM to help build those rules more easily. A new workflow rule included starts with, and that applies to field on the header, field on any line of the order. That is also a new feature, and optional field has been around for a long time. Those rules are easy for customers to maintain themselves. They can easily change the approvers and the conditions as well. You can have up to 5 sequential approvers, which can be individual Sage users or groups of Sage users if you want any user in a group to do the approval. We've looked at extended notes on the web screen, which helps provide relevant information to the approvers and to the users entering the transaction without having to click and open other screens. You have the information you need as you need to. So because you have this easy interface, you can complete your approvals more quickly. You have all the information in one screen, which will help reduce bottleneck and speed up the approvals. And the notifications can happen in the tools that users are familiar with, Microsoft Teams, emails, or if you want to save all the chat, all the discussion around the approval, use Teamwork in the app.